The mutants of Krakoa and Arakko are about to go to war in a tournament of swords? Not quite. Welcome back to 10 of Swords right here at the Comicstorian channel, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. The 10 of Swords is an X-Men event that Jonathan Hickman did back in November, December of 2020. And we have been building up to it slowly here on the channel, but it's time to finish it up with the final 2 episodes. The actual battles between all of the mutants from one side of the globe to the other side of the other dimension. Here we go, the battles begin. Excalibur 14. Jubilee leans against Shogo, her son the dragon who has a dragon form in Otherworld. Suddenly a voice fills her mind as Betsy tells her that there's going to be a duel. Jubilee jumps up, suddenly full of energy. Betsy, who are you dueling? If I don't hear from you by noon, Jubilee begins, but Betsy tells Jubilee that they need to stay far away from the Citadel. Before she could say more, Betsy cuts the conversation short, telling Jubilee that someone is there to see her. Can I help you? Betsy asks as she looks up to Iska. The Unbeaten looks down at her, telling Betsy that it isn't too late for her to forfeit. Are you joking? Get away from me, Betsy tells her sharply. A short time later, the citizens of Avalon sit in a small arena, everyone laughing as King Jaime finishes warming up the crowd and introduces the combatants. Both warriors enter the arena, drawing cheers from their sides, and as they touch blades, Jaime raises his glass. Commence! He commands. Betsy moves in fast, knocking Iska aside with her shield, the Unbeaten stumbling back but only smiling, wiping the blood from her lips as she looks up. Good, she says simply, lunging forward, her blade clashing against Betsy's shield, forcing her back. Betsy moves, meeting with another attack from her sword, but she stares in shock as her blade shatters to pieces. It's breaking! Something's breaking! I'm breaking! She gasps, and the blade falls as if it's glass, but it doesn't stop there. The cracks begin to appear up her arm until she shatters into a series of pieces on the floor. The X-Men stare in shock and horror, while the mutants of Arakko smile in victory. In a matter of seconds, Saturn IX steps out onto the field. Oh my, is the duel already over? She asks. And she awards the point to Arakko before commanding those watching to head back to the Citadel and prepare for the upcoming party. Brian Braddock rushes forward, held back only by Logan and Cable. You greedy witch! You're meddling in your own games! He snarls. He glares at the woman, promising to kill her, and the others pull him away as Apocalypse asks, This party you threatened, is it a challenge? Speak plainly. He tells her, Oh, it'll be challenging all right. Your little friend here better make sure that he speaks every language, and quick. She says, motioning to Cypher. The young mutant is shocked as his own card is drawn from his jacket. Saturn IX's attendants reach for Cypher, pulling him away from the group. I don't want to die! He shouts in fear, and the attendants grab Bay as well, beginning to pull her away. Unhand me, maidservants! She snarls. Cypher suddenly stares in shock because he can't understand what that woman is saying, and she glares at him. Do not shine your sweet face on me and expect pity, she snaps. The servants begin to take them away, but Cypher continues to fight. Wait, I don't understand her! He shouts. So a short time later, Cypher sits with the attendants, continuing to try and get them to speak to him as they dress him. Can you at least tell me when I need to get my sword out? Can I at least get a few minutes to practice with it? He questions, and the girls giggle as they put him into a white tunic, and they place a wreath of flowers on his head. I don't like giggles! This isn't funny, he tells them, but a voice calls to him from the door. Aw, that isn't true. I think you look cute like that, and I need to laugh at something. Magik tells him from the doorway. She steps into the room, telling him that everyone is still in shock about Betsy. She tells him that she came to see if he was all right as the servants begin to lead them down the hallway, and she explains that they set up a bar and the next fight doesn't really look like a duel. Maybe more dinner? She says to him, and Cypher is shocked. Bay is going to hunt me for sport and serve me for dinner? Or am I going to serve her? He asks. And Magik shakes her head, explaining that they also brought a cake. Oh my god. She's not going to kill me, Cypher suddenly realizes as the servants open up the doors and everyone is in attendance. Bay in the front of the room, a veil covering her face. Saturn IX smiles at them. Welcome, Douglas. We were afraid that you were going to leave your bride at the altar. Both Cypher and Magik stand in shock. Okay, good luck. You need the talk? I mean, I'm self-taught, but I'll do my best, Ileana whispers to her friend. Cypher walks down the aisle, relief on his face. "This is hell next to a quick death," Wolverine whispers, bringing a snort of laughter from the Kraken. The bride and the groom exchange vows, and Saturnyne pronounces them man and wife. "You may now kiss your bride," she says to Cypher. He looks shy, telling Bay that they can skip that part, but the mutant removes her veil, smiling down at the young man. "You're so pretty," he gasps, stunned. And suddenly fire erupts around them, the room rumbles, and the rocks crack as Jubilee appears, riding on Shogo's back. "What's up, Citadel? I finished my lunch and Captain Britain didn't call me back. So here we are. We have a buddy system," she shouts. Storm leaps into the air, trying to calm Jubilee and her dragon down, but Bay then suits up with her armor and sword. Douglas looks at her and asks that she not hurt the dragon, and she stares at him for a moment before grabbing him, planting a kiss on his lips. Saturnyne moves forward, offering an extra point to whoever brings her Jubilee's head. "You gotta get mine first, bub." Wolverine snarls, getting in the way, and Storm tries to reason with the young mutant. But Shogo opens his mouth, launching a fire blast at her. Finally, Saturnyne twirls her fingers. "Oh, that's right, he's just a baby. Come to Auntie Opaluna," she whispers, and something takes control of Shogo and he launches forward. Wolverine yells for Storm to grab Jubilee before she's thrown clear, and the dragon lands at Saturnyne's feet as she pets him gently. "You're lucky your soft little brain is so susceptible to magic. Now you're all mine and I'll give you whatever you want. Let's just all be at peace," she whispers to Shogo, and she turns, raising her glass to the kissing couple. "A wedding in my very own dragon! It's got me in a good mood. A point for each. Shall we cut the cake?" Wolverine 7. Magik steps through the tortured-filled dungeon, walking up to the guards, holding out the card that was drawn. Without a word, the guard motions her through the door, and she flips through as the world is turned upside down around her, and she enters the floating kingdom of Roma Regina. She greets the people around her with a smile, and with a rumble, Pog lands hard behind her, kicking up dirt. Pog is most fit. Your sole chance is to forfeit," he bellows, and the two launch themselves forward, blades clashing with a burst of magical energy. But suddenly, the sword is ripped out of their hands, and she motions to the pedestal before her. "This is a contest of arms," she declares. "Arm wrestling? Seriously?" Ileana snaps. The two combatants step up to the pedestal, clasping hands together. Pog will tear baby arm from its socket and keep it in his pocket." The big lizard smiles. The contest is over in seconds, and the crowd cheers for Pog. Later, Wolverine stands on Blightspoke, his sword drawn as he stares at the world of collapsed realities that surround him. Suddenly, the summoner's hand comes out of the dirt, pulling him underground. "You think it's Summoner that you're fighting, but it's really the Blightspoke," Saturnyne says in their minds. The two blades clash against each other, and as they fight, the broken realities continue to warp around them, attacking the two unstoppable mutants. They're attacked by spiders, suddenly floating in a void. Wild animals run in to maul them, and the air tears the flesh off their bones. They then end up in a cyber world, and they fight a sea monster. Finally, Wolverine stabs Summoner in the eye, and the young mutant drops dead. "All right, witch, I won. Get me out of your carnival." Wolverine snarls, but Saturnines' voice fills his mind once more. "I said it was a fight to the death. Summoner fought to the death. The point goes to Araco," she tells him. "You gotta be kidding me!" Wolverine snarls as the world goes dark around him. And a short time later, Wolverine and Storm are now sitting in comfy chairs in a room surrounded by liquors. "You're saying I lost by winning? I survived that reality thresher for nothing?" Logan snaps, and he turns to Storm, asking why they're even here. "We're here to drown our sorrows, Logan," Storm tells him, holding up her card. "Me versus you, but we're on the same team," Logan tells her, and the ruler of the Crooked Market comes over with a smile, offering them a bottle of golden liquid. At first, Logan continues to argue, but eventually he and Storm begin to drink in earnest. They continue to drink, and Logan points out that everything in the Crooked Market has a cost, and it's just a matter of time until they find out what that cost is. Unbeknownst to them, Mad Jim Jaspers is meeting with Death outside to receive his payment. On the Citadel, Saturnyne watches as Solemn and War clash blades, and in the market, Wolverine and Storm clink glasses, arguing about which of them won the little drinking contest. They both smile drunkenly, leaning together for a kiss. Solemn smiles to War as he raises his blade. He knows that she would love to avenge her husband that he slayed so long ago, but today, he has other plans. "Saturnyne, my love, bring me my boy," Solemn says with a smile, and Wolverine suddenly disappears before Storm. "Huh? He gasps as he appears between Solemn and War, and he looks around. 2 questions. Why the hell am I here? And why am I so hammered? I can't possibly be this hammered, he asks, and Solemn points his blade at Wolverine, telling him, it's time to pay your debt. War is confused, but Solemn explains that Wolverine owes him a fight. With these words, he walks off the cliff and leaps away. If I'm not mistaken, Wolverine just killed your son, Solemn calls as he rides a dragon out of the room. War turns to Logan, anger burning in her eyes, and Saturnine smirks as she holds up a card, explaining that the first to sever a limb wins. If I'm still, that means my healing factor is shit to bread. Wolverine gasps. War leaps at Wolverine in anger. He dodges her attack but sways drunkenly, catching a burning swipe against his arm. He blocks another blow, but War kicks out, knocking him to the ground. What was in that bottle, Saturnine? What did we drink? Wolverine shouts as he hits the ground. The Queen looks at him. Just as there is a cost for everything in the crooked market, there's a cost for trying to kill me, Saturnine tells him. War swings her blade, cutting into Wolverine's neck, and he snarls in pain, but the blade is stopped. Your head should be mine, she gasps. My adamantium spines to screw you, he snarls as he pops his claws, slashing off her hand. Saturnine rears back on Shogo, unhappy. The point goes to Solemn, she says simply, and Wolverine struggles to his feet. Will someone pull this sword out of my neck? He snarls. Arakko 5, Krakoa 2. X-Force number 14. Nightfall. Saturnine raises another card that shows Pog fighting Magik again. A gauntlet of battles awaits. Are you ready? She questions. I have to fight him again? Magik asks, practically ignoring the giant lizard that stands ready to kill her. Saturnine nods, ordering them to throw down their swords and fight as they are. The great lizard picks up Ileana, preparing to eat her, but she has learned something since their last fight. What first tastes yummy now begins to tickle my tummy. Pog burps, when suddenly his mouth opens up and Magik comes flying back out, holding a small mutant in her hands. Like I said, I learned something new. Pog means sword in Iraqi. Your alligator pajamas are one big sword, she says with a smile, and she cracks her knuckles as Pog tries to reason with her. This is a fight to death or submission. Either way, little guy, you're beat, she says as she punches him clear across the room. Arakko 5, Krakoa 3. Now the contests all begin to come in rapid fire. First we have the contest of torture. Then there's a contest of moving large boulders up a hill. There's one of fighting great monsters beneath the sea. Another of eating a disgusting dinner. A dance competition, a strange abstract maze, a really big puzzle, a fashion show, and land navigation within the Blight Spoke. By the end of the gauntlet, the score was very lopsided. Arakko 12, Krakoa 5. The next competition is a foot race in the Crooked Market. Saturnine tries to speak to Brian Braddock beforehand, but Captain Avalon moves away from her. Don't speak to me. Still angry over the death of his sister. Saturnine watches as he walks away. You'll come around eventually, my darling. If sympathy doesn't work, fury will, she whispers. Robotic warriors at her back, the race begins as Mad Jim Jaspers fires the starting pistol. Brian races forward far faster than Red Root, but as he keeps going, the robotic soldiers begin to attack him. He tries to push forward, but the robots keep attacking him, knocking him into various tents throughout the market. He bellows for Saturnine, calling her a cheater. Red Root keeps moving forward though, slowly, unaware that she shatters a crystal globe. Jaspers follows them, marking off on his book every amount of damage, and finally, Red Root crosses the finish line with Saturnine cheering for her. I've won? I've never won anything before, Red Root gasps, and Jasper smiles as he steps forward, offering her his congratulations, but points out the matter of debt. He smiles, telling her that the crystal globe was priceless, and he shrinks her down to pay that debt. Saturnine steps up to Brian, ordering her soldiers to leave, and she points out that he has caused unaccountable damage and that he'll be thrown in prison. Unless you ask for my help, she says with a smile. Arakko 13, Krakoa 5. Magik steps forward for the riddle and spelling bee contest. A white rabbit pulled out of a black top hat in a spell cast by a wizard and the very life force of Saturnine. What am I? The riddle master asks, and Ileana smiles at the very easy answer. Magik. M-A-G-I-K, she says confidently, spelling out her own name, a variation on the word magic. And it's that moment that they realize she failed. Arakko 14, Krakoa 5. Meanwhile, Logan and Whitesword stare into a mirror. In it, they see everyone that they've ever killed. The first to look away loses. After a time, A single tear rolls down Wolverine's cheek. Aratco 15, Krakoa 5. They step before the rock sirens of Clevermore. Few can resist their call, and Gorgon suddenly rushes forward while removing his clothes. Let's get out of here. I think Gorgon's gonna screw that rock. Logan whispers to Ileana. Aratco 16, Krakoa 5. War and Avalon stand in front of a wizard. He orders them to kill the kitten. Brian tries to stop War. Aratco 17, Krakoa 5. Storm awakens, her powers gone as death stands over her. He asks for her hand in a dance as they are surrounded by the undead. He bows to her before attacking with his blade, and steel clashes against steel as the vampires watch. But Storm leaps, her vibranium blade finally breaking Death's sword into pieces. This has gone on long enough, I think, Death tells her as he begins to remove his mask. But Storm recoils back, holding her blade to mirror his own face. Death screams in pain as his own powers overtake him, and Storm launches herself across the room, stabbing him through the stomach. The vampires smell blood, and they launch themselves across the room. Aratco 17, Krakoa 6. Hellions number 6. The Hellions step through the gate. They've been through hell. Their horse has run ragged, everyone is wounded, and Havoc is missing an eye. But Mr. Sinister got a new cape. You see, the Hellions have been traveling around trying to get behind everything to steal the swords. They're a little late to the party. You did it, Sinister. I can't believe it. You know who I wish was here to see where we got? My other eye! Havoc shouts angrily. Sinister smiles, pointing out that the hippogriffs took their bridge toll very seriously. He turns away, reminding the team to use their stealth voices so that they can claim their prizes. A prize? What prize brought this soft mutant stock for me to mangle? A voice calls out, and they find a stranger sitting on a rock looking down at them. Psylocke steps forward, her psychic blades already burning bright in her hands. The 10 swords of Aratco. Where are they gathered? We need them before the contest begins. For this reason, I will only ask once. Psylocke snaps at the stranger. He looks at her, telling her that the 10 swords are in Otherworld, where they're wielded by their champions at a contest that is well underway. He tells her, and everyone stares at the stranger in shock. You said that you knew where we were going! Havoc shouts, pointing angrily at their leader, and everyone begins to argue, demanding to know what Sinister was thinking. Yes, what were you thinking? The stranger asks, his eyes beginning to glow as he probes Sinister's mind. He stands, realizing that Sinister came all this way to collect a true prize. The genes of the mutants, he tells the team. And Havoc gets more angry, threatening to punch Sinister in the face. So strange, you let your mutants look you in the eye. I know better, Tarn the Uncaring tells him. Sinister pushes Alex away, asking the stranger where his mutants are, and Tarn raises his arms and chants. The mutants all suddenly appear behind him. To me, my vile Lucius, he says with a smile. Sinister stares at the new mutants with a look of love in his eyes. We should go, Havoc whispers. They're beautiful, Sinister gasps. Tarn nods, telling Sinister that he knows why he came and these mutants are his, but Sinister isn't really paying attention. He reaches into his pocket, removing a packet of his nanobugs, designed to harvest DNA. They fly towards the Vile Locus, drawing their DNA. Vandals, make murder, my Vile, Tarn orders. The first of the mutants shoots a beam of energy that destroys Nanny in a single blast. Psylocke orders defensive fire while the others fall back. Seeing this, Empath immediately runs for the portal. Havoc cries in anger and begins to launch another blast, but another of the Vile appears with a blade, chopping his hands off. Grey Crow grabs him, opening fire with his pistol while he drags Alex away, but Grey Crow turns, only to come face to face with another of the Vile. Small blades fly through the air, cutting and piercing into his body. Orphan Maker is next to die, his arms ripped off and eaten alive. Psylocke yells for Sinister to collect his nanobugs. He nods, handing the case back to Psylocke, ordering her to return it to Krakoa. He threatens her too, bringing up her daughter again if she doesn't do as he orders. And with sadness, Psylocke turns to Wildchild. Wildchild, Grey Crow and Havoc are injured. We need time, she tells the mutant, and he nods at her. I'll do good. Watch me? He asks, and she nods as Wildchild launches himself at the Vile Locus. Sadness fills her eyes as Wildchild is cut down in seconds and the three step through the gate. Before Sinister can join them, he is locked in place by Tarn's psychic powers. Touched by brilliance, mutilated by madness, this I would admire, but you stole from me. So the flaw becomes tragic. Tragic indeed, Tarn says, and Sinister begins to scream in pain as the very fabric of his being is undone. When Psylocke and the others appear in Otherworld, they continue to carry Havoc. But suddenly the guards appear. Psylocke and Grey Crow prepare to fight, but the guards suddenly become fearful and throw down their weapons. Hope you don't mind me stepping in, Empath says as he steps out of the shadows. Psylocke picks up Havoc and heads for the Krakoan gate. Grey Crow crosses the room smiling at his teammate who has been controlling his mind for the last few days. Manuel, you did it! You're a genius. You're weak. Must be starving. Holding the guards is taking it all out of you. Grey Crow notes. Empath smiles at him, asking how he knows, and Grey Crow's blade stabs Empath in the stomach as he smiles. The mutant falls to the ground as his blood begins to pool. Better stay awake. You die here, your brain gets scrambled for good. You hear me? Pick up your guts and get going. Grey Crow whispers to him as they move through the portal. He follows the others through the gate, smiling at the sunshine and smells of Krakoa. But suddenly the three of them are surrounded by a black smoke as Mr. Sinister steps out of the smoke, stabbing Psylocke in the chest, turning, shooting Alex in the head, and Grey Crow curses, pulling out his weapon. The Sinister hits a button and the mutant's skin melts from his bones. Whistling to himself, Sinister reaches down, pulling out the case of nanobugs from Psylocke's pocket, and Empath crawls his way through the gate, shocked at what he finds. Say, you didn't see my cape back there, did you? Sinister asks him, but Empath doesn't answer and dies from his wounds. Oh well, Sinister whistles, tearing up his old uniform, bloodying his face and hands, taking a deep breath as he readies himself, and finally he rushes forward, tears in his eyes as he screams, "My Hellions! They're dead!" he shouts. And there you guys have it. This was chapters 15 through 18 of the Ten of Swords event, bringing us to our inevitable finale. Now, I do want to apologize. I said that we were going to try and bring this to you as one big final video, but it was just so large, we had to break it up one last time. But don't worry, I have already recorded the finale. It will come out next week, and we will resolve Ten of Swords as we are moving forward in our House of M coverage, and we're about to begin Dead Man Logan to replace this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please consider going to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian. And there's not much more to say. Check back next week for the finale to Ten of Swords. I hope you guys liked it. We're out.